I just passed Jeff on the street and he didn't even recognize me. He just acted like he didn't even know me. So I don't know what's going on. I guess I'll have to figure it out. He just like stared at me and then looked away. It was really weird. Hey everyone, I decided that it was time to do a recap slash debrief slash whatever this is going to be called about everything that's happened so far. Especially if you're just joining in now, then you must be like, what's going on? Well, what's going on is that this vlog started off as a lifestyle and health and fitness vlog, and now it is spiraling out of control. So to start, you may have noticed that there are a lot of post-it notes behind me right here. I started off doing recaps of what's happened like a while ago, but I figured now is a good time to do it again. But this time I have real cards and I'm going to use a Sharpie. So if you're just joining us now, my friend Jeff was missing and then I found him again, and now he's joined some sort of cult called Polaris. I'll backtrack a little bit. And I'm also going to start replacing these cards. So my friend Jeff was missing. We were having dinner together and then suddenly he just ran off, and I was worried, everyone was worried, all of our friends were worried. I don't know what happened. He just vanished and he left me a set of numbers. He basically just said, you know, I have to remember these numbers, and that was that. So let's start. Also, there are some other post-it notes that I feel like are irrelevant now, so I'm gonna start getting rid of them. So as things started getting weirder and, you know, Jeff had disappeared and whatever else, I started seeing shadow people in my videos. And then I started seeing them in real life. So, yeah, it was a little scary, and just this last episode I saw a shadow version of myself. So as we started seeing more and more shadow people, I reached out to a bunch of friends. Some of them reached out to me and they were giving me their expert advice and opinion on what's going on. One of my friends, Grant, reached out to me and he was kind enough to talk to me a bit about it. He basically said that these shadow people were ghosts, and it's like our mental energy being projected out into a form. Unfortunately, as things have progressed, I found out that that's not true. So, taking that off. Another friend reached out to me, Morgan. She basically said that these shadow people are from parallel universes, and as like things progressed, it made more and more sense, and now we're at this point where that is now fact. So shadow people are definitely from another universe. Thanks, Morgan, for letting me know about that. It's weird, but I guess that's what's happening now. So I'm gonna write down parallel universes. And let me backtrack a little bit. The numbers that Jeff gave me were 22961. And remember that because that's important. I also got these different colored post-it notes, so I'm gonna write down that. For some strange reason, those numbers keep popping up. So I'm going to put that somewhere here. So as these things were happening, I started meeting other people who were having similar problems as I am. I was at a house con with my friend Heather, and she mentioned that her coworker was going through some similar problems, and they had also left the same numbers on this post-it note that said like Polaris. So I started doing some research about Polaris and I found close to nothing. Somehow Polaris reached out to me. I guess they found out about this vlog, or I'm not sure. Maybe there was like a paper trail that I left and they somehow found me. So, Polaris. Let me just move that down a little bit. Okay, so we have Jeff, we have those numbers, We have Polaris. They booked a hotel room for me in Philly. Accommodations and everything was free. So when I got there, obviously I had to bring a friend, so I decided who better to bring than someone who's also had experiences with these sort of things. So I asked my friend Mason, who hasn't had the chance to hang out recently just because things have been busy, and it's completely understandable. But Mason mentioned that when he was younger, he had also had like an imaginary friend who was a shadow person. So I thought it'd be interesting to bring him along, but when we got there, Mason was nowhere to be found, and I got really worried, and I was concerned that he pulled a Jeff on me or something. We've spoken since then. It's just that things have been a little odd. So the thing is that when I went to go see Polaris, I got down there and I assume that I saw their leader. They pulled me aside from whatever they were doing. It was really weird because it was all like, they were all huddled in one area and they just like turned around and looked at me all at once. It was like, I don't know, I think they're a cult, and I'm just gonna go with they're a cult. Actually, I'm gonna write that down. And Jeff had also mentioned these people before, but like, it felt like he was trying to recruit me into something, so that's why I think they might be a cult. I spoke with the leader and they mentioned this thing called the Reckoning, and I have no idea what that means. So when I first started talking to them, like the first few minutes, they seemed okay, but then as things progressed, I don't know, it was strange. They started sounding more and more scared. I don't know what happened really, but when I looked back at the footage, there was like a shadow on one side of the camera, and there was like a voice. And then after that, I spoke with my friend Tim, and Tim said that if I didn't stop, then things were gonna get worse. And he said that he was traveling between universes, and to be honest, I'm not too sure what's going on there. So he didn't say it out loud, but I'm going to jump to the conclusion that I think the thing that was off to the side on the camera was like a parallel universe version of Tim. Tim came here from another universe because he wanted to get back with his family or something like that, and like see his friends or whatever. But there's another version of him that's here. I think what happened was maybe he replaced that version, and when he came over, regular Tim, like Tim from this world, turned into a shadow as a result of him moving here. So I think there are two versions of Tim in this universe right now. There's Shadow Tim, who's our original Tim, and then there's Parallel Universe Tim, who came here because his universe had gotten destroyed, so he's trying to, I guess, get back with his family, but in the process, Tim from this world got turned into a shadow, but I don't know. So if that's the case, then I'm going to make two Tims. There's going to be Shadow Tim, and there's going to be like other universe Tim. So when I was talking to Polaris, I also asked them about Jeff. And I have no idea where Jeff is. I don't know what's going on. But let's say that we're making the assumption that there are two Jeffs. So Jeff A from this universe disappeared. I guess something happened with Polaris. Maybe he had like been with Polaris before, or I'm not entirely sure. So assuming that in order for you to be in a physical form, there has to be another form of you that's a shadow. If you're both in the same universe, then Jeff A from this universe went to Polaris. I don't know why. Maybe he had like joined the cult. I mean, he's always like, you know, talked about joining something. So anyway, so Jeff went to the cult and he like talked to them or something, and they somehow convinced him that he needs to travel to another universe Great. Okay, so he goes to another universe. So this whole thing happens, and then he comes back, and he's unsettled. He doesn't want to be, doing this stuff anymore. So he's like trying to run away from them. They still need him to travel between universes or something. I'm not sure why it would be a thing. Maybe like only some people can travel. Maybe, not everyone is, able to travel between universes or something. Jeff A is somewhere in the other universe. Jeff B, in the meantime, came over here because they had both, Polaris in this universe had been communicating with Polaris in that universe. So Jeff B was here for a while, and I saw Jeff B at Origins. And after I saw him at Origins, I got invited to Polaris, and I'm guessing when I was there, what they meant to say was that Jeff is traveling, so he'll be back soon. So I'm going to assume that the last person I spoke with who looked like Jeff was Jeff B. And the Jeff that I saw on the street, that has to be Jeff B as well. So that's the only reasonable explanation. He probably just didn't recognize me because he probably doesn't know me in the other universe. Later on, I start getting messages from this person called the Fight Master. And I don't know who this person is. This is like some random person who just showed up and started sending me messages. So I'm gonna write that down. And the Fight Master has been sort of like helping me with these things. Like, he has been helpful. In a previous episode, he basically told me that the numbers, the 22961 numbers, I had to like tune into a radio frequency and I'd be able to hear something. And I heard Jeff. Like, Jeff is out there. I mean, why would he want me to find Jeff? Like, why is he trying to help me? And then later on, he gave me another email with like a set of coordinates. And these coordinates were like in the middle of the woods somewhere. And when I got out there, and this was just like the last episode, when I got out there, it was the strangest thing. I saw a shadow version of myself. What she said was I didn't have a lot of time. She didn't have a lot of time. And basically, shadow people come from destroyed universes. So Morgan was right. I'm assuming that this world's gonna get destroyed soon, and I'm just gonna have to trust what's going on and try to stop it or find out more about it. She also said that I shouldn't trust the Fight Master. She said not to trust Polaris, but I know not to trust Polaris, but she said to not trust the Fight Master, whoever they are. So a fear of mine is that I've somehow entered like another universe. Before I went to go see the shadow version of myself in the woods, I spoke with my friend Alex, and she brought up a good point, and it's kind of been bothering me. She basically said that like, what if I return from the woods and I'm in another universe and I'm like somehow stuck somewhere else that's not where I'm supposed to be? In that case, that would explain a lot about, Jeff ignored me when I walked down the street, but I really don't know.